Alrighty, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the stream. Today, we're going to be talking about Riftbound League of Legends new TCG. We've just had the release weekend, it currently is the release weekend in Australia, and I wanted to talk about the game, how to play it, potentially get some of you guys into the game, and open up a boosty box of cards and see if we can pull some sick cards. So let's quickly talk about the basics of the rules, because I think it's really interesting and it's what obviously separates it from Magic the Gathering. So the easiest way, I guess the 30-second pitch for Riftbound is it's basically 1v1 Commander mixed with Marvel Snap, I think is the easiest way to talk about the game. Let's start with deck construction, because I think that's really a really interesting thing to discuss. So in League right now, there are 12. I'm probably going to get some of the verbiage wrong, but this is going to be the Magic players like translation guide. I've never played Flesh and Blood. It's a game I refuse to play for reasons we'll maybe discuss later on down the track. But I refuse to play the game. Anyway, for Riftbound, currently there are a bunch of, I think they call them Champion Legends. There are 12 of them at this point in time. Actually, where is my... So we've got one of them here. Oh yeah, that's right, I've got a peek on over here. So this is Jinx. If you guys have watched the Arcane TV show, you should probably know who Jinx is. Let me see if I've got some other ones. Okay, I have to actually open up the deck. Ah, here we go. I can use the Learn to Play deck that I've got. So, yeah, here is another one. This is Volibear. And these Champion Legend cards, they dictate what you can have in a deck. So if you look at the top left-hand corner of the card, I believe there are 6 different colors in Riftbound at the moment. I can't remember the names of the runes, but basically they're all these different colors. So we have here purple, which is chaos. We have green, which is calm. So they're the different colors of the game. So for example, the Jinx Legend, Champion Legend, we can only play with the red and purple cards. Now also, this Champion Legend has a passive ability, and this is basically like an Eminence ability that just exists throughout the whole game. So Jinx has this ability that says at the beginning of your, at the start of your beginning phase, draw 1 if you have 1 or fewer cards in hand. So simple enough. Compared to something like Volibear, so it can only use the red and orange cards. So it has passive Relentless Storm. When you play a mighty unit, so a mighty unit is something that has 5 or more might. We'll talk about that in a second. You may exhaust me to channel 1 rune exhausted. We'll talk about what those words mean very shortly. So once you pick your Champion Legend that you want, as I said, think of this as your Eminence ability for your deck, and it also, again, defines your colors that you can play. You can then pick a, I think is it Champion Unit is the word. So if we go through the deck here, so in this Volibear Precon deck, yeah, Champion Unit. So we have this Champion Unit Volibear, and he essentially will be the easiest way to describe it is he'll be the companion for your deck. So when you start off the game, you show your legend card that you're playing, and then you also have your Champion Unit, which sits in effectively the command zone, and it's a companion, and you can just play it anytime for its cost. We'll talk about more about that later. So that's the core of the deck. Let me quickly get my other Lee Sin deck that I have. So, as it stands right now, as I said, this is the first set that's just come out. Second set's coming out in February. And we have 12 Legends right now. And I think I've got a couple more in here. So we've got, this is a unit. Lee Sin. There we go. So this is part of the pre-con, and then I've got some other cool cards to show off as well. So this is part of the Lee Sin pre-con deck. So we have, probably be easier. Lee Sin, the Blind Monk. So he can only play green and orange cards. He has an ability, if the camera will focus. Come on. Does... Alright, you have to trust me. I don't know why it's not. It is not auto-focusing. So Lee Sin has the ability pay 1, tap, buff a friendly unit. We'll talk about more of that later. We've also got... These are some of the prize packs that I picked up. So we've got Teemo here. He can only have blue and purple cards. We've got... Logan's going to butcher me. Kesa, who can only play red and blue cards. And there's 12 of them. This is for set 1. There's more of them coming in the next set in February. And as I said, the champion legend that you can have a champion unit that matches it in your companion zone, your command zone. Sweet. Let's talk about deck building. The decks are, what are they, 40 cards plus your, hold on, let me get this straight. It's 12 for runes. We'll talk about runes in a second. 3 battlefields, that's 15, plus a 40 card deck. Yeah, perfect. So it's a 49, it's a 39 card deck plus your, or is it a 38 card deck plus your unit and legend? And inside your deck building, you can have 3 of any one card. I'll have to double check because there's this other really cool mechanic as well. Let me see if I've got the card to show you. So not only do you have your champion legends, you've got champion units, you've also got signature spells. Here we go. So for example, this card. This is Leona's signature spell. Very pretty. Again, camera is butchering me here, not focusing on it. So you can only have this card in your deck if Leona is your champion legend, which is your passive ability. I believe. I need to double check the rules on signature spells, but I believe that's what it is. So, for example, we couldn't have the Zenith Blade in the Volibear deck, not only because it's not the right colors, but because Leona isn't our champion. All right, let's open some boosties. We'll talk more. We'll get into some more rule stuff here in a bit. All right. So I've only opened three packs of this so far. I do have a rough idea of what we're looking for. I'll be sure to call it out. That's right. Other cool thing as well, because it's a new TCG, there's no such thing as collector boosters. All the cool cards you can get in the normal packs. And hopefully we'll open some of the really rare cards and we can talk about those. We might as well take this moment to talk about the layout of a card and some important things to note. It's going to be very similar. Trying to get the focus right. It's going to be very similar to a Magic card. So here in the center of the card, it tells us what the thing is. So for example, Orb of Regret is a gear. You can think of that as an artifact. It's something that you play for a cost. So up here, the cost in the top left corner is just a single, what do they call, it's not mana, is it just energy? Maybe? Anyway, it costs 1 mana. And if we look down at the ability, it's got Riftbound tap symbol. Give a unit -1 might. Again, we'll talk about might later. This turn to a minimum of 1. Other most important thing is in the bottom right corner. It tells you what color the card is. And again, this goes back to the Champion Legend, which defines what colors you can run in a deck. So this card is, I believe that's blue. Cannot be run in the Volibear deck. So you do have some deck building restrictions there. You can think of it as color identity for Commander. Here we have our first unit card. So these are effectively creatures. Again, we've got the cost in the top left corner. And now we have might. Might is both health and, defense and attack. You treat them as effectively one and the same. We'll talk about more of that later. But we can see here it's a unit. It's from the faction Ionia. I don't think currently that matters, the little faction. Card name and then what the card does. When I'm attacking or defending alone, I have +2 might. So pretty self-explanatory. It gives +2 to its ability up here. And we can see in the bottom right, it's a green card. Another unit, Chemtech Enforcer. If you've played the Legends of Runeterra TCG, the digital TCG, you're going to recognize all of the artwork here. I'm pretty sure like a good chunk of the artwork has been repurposed for this game. Size Scout. We'll talk about this one here. He says, you may play me to an open battlefield. We'll talk about battlefields in a second. I'm pretty sure we get a battlefield in every pack. It's got, here we do another translation here. Vision, when you play me, look at the top card of your main deck, you may recycle it. Whenever you see the words recycle, it just means put to the bottom of your library. So this card basically says it's a 6 mana 5/5 with ETB Scry 1, and you may play me to an open battlefield, which we'll talk about in a bit. Petty Officer, so we see here another keyword here, Assault +1 might while I'm an attacker. We have our first spell. So the spells in Runeterra are really interesting, and I think this is one of the big points of difference that will get people into the game. So there are, I believe it's 2 different types of spells. There's actions and reactions. We might as well talk about reactions because we're right here. As it says on the card, reaction, play anytime before spells and abilities resolve. It says deal 1 to all units at battlefield. So obviously deal 1 damage. What's really interesting though is, so you can think of reactions like instants. However, they can only react to things. You can't play a reaction when nothing is on the stack. So that's one like thing to keep in mind. So if your opponent has a hand full of reactions and you don't do anything, or your opponent doesn't, if you have a hand full of reactions and your opponent doesn't do anything, you can't cast them because there's nothing to react to, which I think is an interesting way to play the game. We've got another unit here with the scry ability that we just spoken about. So here we are. We have our first battlefield. Aspirants climb. Increase the points needed to win the game by 1. So let's quickly talk about 2 things. So there are 3 decks, I guess, you have when you're deck constructing. You have a runes deck, which is your mana, your lands. Rune deck is 12 in size, and obviously it's going to be up to 2 colors. You then have a battlefield deck, which you pick 3 battlefields, and we'll talk about more of these later on. And each of the battlefields has different abilities. And if you've played Marvel Snap, these are the locations that you want to win to gain points. So at the start of the game, you and your opponent both choose a battlefield from a battlefield deck, and you put it into play, and then you're fighting over these locations. Dragon-coded card here. Herald of Scales. Your dragon's energy costs are reduced by 2 to a minimum of 1. Another piece of gear here. Ooh, nice. I love the foiling and the artwork on these cards. So we've got a spell, Promising Future. So these are... Here we go. So this is the other type of spell that you can cast. So this is a sorcery speed spell. Because it doesn't say reaction or action on it. So spells. The sorcery, Promising Future. Let's talk about the cost here as well. So we've got 5 energy costs in the top left. And you'll note that it's got another little symbol below it. So these are called power. And effectively, it's an additional cost. So you pay this 5, like normal. You have your runes in play. We'll talk about more how you get runes later on. So you tap 5 of them. And then what this symbol means is you have to pick a rune of this color and put it to the bottom of your rune deck. You have to recycle it. So it costs 5, but then you're going to lose a rune to do this ability. And you'll find this additional cost on basically a number of cards across the game. Like, for example, here is a unit here with the same power cost. So you can see it costs 2, but you have to recycle 1 unit. Now, the cool... 1 rune. But the cool thing about recycling is they can be a tapped rune or a rune that you've used to pay for this cost. So you can tap the 5 and then put 1 of them away, so you only have 4 runes left over. Anyway, what does this card do? I've not seen this one. Each player looks at the top 5 cards of their main deck. So this is where your spells and your units are. Chooses 1, then recycles the rest. Starting with the next player, each player plays those cards, ignoring energy costs. They must still pay power costs. So again, power is an additional cost, is the way to look at it. Speaking of Leona, there we go. We have our first champion unit. So Leona. So these are the ones that can sit in the companion zone. So in terms of deck building, you can have 3 of any card. Again, signature spells. I cannot remember for the life of me if it's only 1 signature spell or if you can have 3. So Leona here. So she has a cost of 4 and a power of the yellow. She has 4 might, so 4 attack, 4 health. Shield 1. While she's defending, she gets +1 might. When I attack, stun an enemy unit here. It doesn't deal combat damage this turn. Yeah, pretty cool card. And nice. We've got champion unit, K-Side, which is literally one of the cards that I was looking for to build my K-Side deck. K-Side. I keep saying K-Side. K-Side. This card is currently the top tier card to play at the moment. She is a 4 cost, 4 might. She has Accelerate, so you can pay an additional 1 and recycle red to have them enter ready. So that means that they can attack straight away. When I conquer, draw 1. Again, we'll talk about conquer because that's battlefield stuff. We'll talk about that later on. And we have a token card and a rules card. So in the game, you can get tokens. Certain cards that create tokens. We'll talk about those later. We're already off to a good start. I can't complain. let's do some more rule stuff. So as I mentioned before, there are going to be battlefields. So a typical board state. Let me quickly set up a board state. So we're going to have our champion legend. We're going to have our champion unit in its companion zone is the easiest way to talk about it, or the command zone. We'll have our main deck of cards just below that. Graveyard sits just below there, and then we have this should be my rune deck just over here. And then we have a battlefield deck. So at the start of the game, you and your opponent both choose a battlefield to put into play. So we'll put this one into play, and obviously our opponent, they would put their battlefield into play as well. And then the way that, in terms of, hey Dave, how's it going? Yeah, Case is the best deck to build at the moment. I'm looking to build the Caser deck, or the Master Key deck. So this is I guess the basic start. And at the start of your turn, you just draw 2 cards from your rune deck, and you put them straight into play. And then obviously you're drawing cards from your main deck. I'm not going to have the right colors here for obvious reasons, because I'm just demonstrating. But let's say, we've got some runes in play. Where are my other colored runes? These aren't all red. Yeah, there we go. So we want to play our champion card, or if we have one in hand. So in this case, Caser costs 4. So we just tap 4 of any color. And she'll enter exhausted. So all units enter exhausted, enter tapped. And it just means they can't attack straight away. And they always enter into this part of your battlefield down here. We call it your base. The majority of cards in the game can't interact with units or cards in your base. There are a handful. Oh, you want the Ari variants? Hold on, I think, where is my... I've got the... Because I went to PAX, I got like the $200 Ari promo. I don't know where she is at the moment. Somewhere. Somewhere on my desk of cards. Yeah, she's lost in the madness at the moment. Anyway. But K-Side's got the special ability that says you can pay an additional 1 and recycle a red. So we can pay the additional 1 and then recycle a red card, which means we just take the card and put it to the bottom of our rune deck, and now Caser can enter ready, and so that means we can instantly deploy her to one of the bases. We can move her to either this base or move her to this base, and then just tap her to show that she's moved this turn. Big thing as well is, let's say your opponent already has a unit at the base. So in this case, let's say they have a Leona. When we move our units to the base, they obviously fight. So in this case, we've got a 4 power Caser attacking a 4 defense Leona. Leona, though, does have the ability, she says she gets +1 might while I'm a defender. So because she's defending this location, she would go up to 5. 4 plays 5. Obviously, Leona would kick Caser's ass, and she would go to your graveyard. That's probably the biggest rules slip-up that I've seen so far, is when you're your champion unit that you have, because you can have 1 in the... Again, command zone or companion zone for Magic Speak, and then 2 in your deck. This one here is just a bonus card. So if it goes in and dies, it goes to your graveyard. It doesn't go back. This is not Commander. The card doesn't go back to your command zone. So be sure to keep that in mind. All right. Let's continue opening some cards. And again, if anyone has any questions while we're going through, just sing out and I'll do my best to answer them. Oh, that's just made things worse. There we go. All right. So, Eager Apprentice. When I'm at a battlefield, the energy cost for spells you play is reduced by 1 to a minimum of 1. This is by far one of the best cards in the game. So, 1 cost spell with a recycle cost of, or a power cost of 1 green. And it simply says, move an enemy unit. So remember how we were talking before about how we've got the battlefields and then we have some units in play. So for example's sake, let's say I have Volibear guarding this location here, and my opponent has Leona at the other location, or better yet, Leona in the base. You can cast this charm card to pick any enemy unit and just force them into a fight here. So if you played the League of Legends game, it lines up perfectly. So we can play Charm to move Leona to this base and instantly start a fight. So Volibear has 9 might, Leona only has 4. So you just eat the unit. Or, you know, if she was at another location, you can bring her across, have them fight, Leona would die, and then you can move your units in. Because that's, again, one of the other things that Riftbound does differently is it's very similar to Hearthstone, how there's no set phases. You can do things out of order. So you still have your like beginning phases where you untap and ready all of your units, you draw cards from your rune deck, you score points, and then draw cards for the turn. And then, yeah, you can do attacking, casting spells and things all out of order. When we get to another action card, we'll talk about action cards in a second as well, because they're really good. Speak of the Devil, we have an action card, Hextech Ray. Action, so it says play on your turn or in showdowns. Deal 3 to a unit at a battlefield. We've got the Caser unit so far, that we're Caser unit that we were chasing. Nothing crazy fantastic. So action cards. So these are sorcery pluses, I want to call them. So you can play them during your turn while the stack is clear, so at any time. The other time that you can play these cards is when you start a showdown. So let's go back to our other example here. Let's say we have Leona defending over here, and we move Caser to the base, and we start what's called a showdown. So because we are the active player, we are the attacker in this situation, and Leona is obviously the defender. So because we're the attacker, we get priority, and we get to play any actions in a showdown. So we're at a showdown here. Sorry, I think it's important to note as well, you can play an action during your turn while the stack is clear, or during a showdown while the stack is clear. So here we could play Hextech Ray, looking to deal 3 damage here. Our action goes on the stack. Our opponent can then play their own action on top of that. I don't think I have another action. Oh, here we go. We play Zenith Blade on top of that, because that's an action. Once both players have played actions, you then get a chance to play your reactions. So as we discussed earlier, you can only react to something with reactions. Where's my reaction card? Do I have one here to show off? Yeah, here we go. So reaction, you can play reactions at any time. And then the stack resolves just like Magic the Gathering. The biggest trip up that I've had trying to like teach myself Legends of Runeterra is, let's say we entered the showdown and I passed priority here. I don't get another chance to play in action. Like I've passed my priority, my opportunity to play an action. So if my opponent plays an action here, I can't then respond to that with another action. The only thing I can do is cast a reaction spell. So it's really important to keep that timing side of things down. But you'll pick it up, as I said, as you play the game. Pick crew, when you play a gear, ready me. So that just means to untap. Build water bullies. While I'm buffed, I have ganking. I can move from battlefield to battlefield. So that's something that we can cover real quickly as well. To move around the battlefields in the game, let's say we have Kesa here and we have Leona over here, and I want to get to this other battlefield, you do have to come back to base, which exhausts your unit. And unfortunately, when units are exhausted, you can't move them again. But there are some cards in the game that let you ready up units. So in this case, we would have to come back to base. We would come exhausted. Maybe we play a card that readies Kesa, and then we can move into the base and start a showdown here. With ganking, it's simply the opposite of what I've just said. They can start at one location, and as long as they're ready, you can just move them across to the other base, instantly start a showdown. We have 6 might here, 4 might here, or it would be 5 with the shield bonus, and so my unit would win and conquer this location. Speaking of moving, one thing that we'll quickly talk about as well is you can move units in a group. So let's say I have these 2 units here in base, they're both ready. I can pick both of these units up. It's almost like, dare I say it, banding. And I can move these guys as a squad. So we have 10 might here versus Leona's 5 might, 4 plus her ability. And then we would assign our damage how we like. Obviously everything would go to Leona, and then Leona gets to deal 5 damage to split between our party. In this case, you would obviously deal it to Kesa. Alright, let's keep going with packs. Ride the Wind, move a friendly unit and ready it. Another excellent card because you can move it to another battlefield, win the battle, hopefully, ready it, and then move to wherever you need to move as well. So that's really good. Hidden Blade. Got lots to talk about with this pack. Hidden, new mechanic, Hidden. So this is effectively Morph. Hide now for, and this rainbow symbol here, again, I don't know if the camera is going to pick it up too well. It's got a rainbow symbol, you have to trust me. It just means to recycle any one of your runes. So remember, recycle just means to put it to the bottom of its appropriate deck. And you can react with it later for a cost of 0. Hidden cards are morphs that basically you can play at any location where you can control a battlefield. Or sorry, any battlefield you control. So for example, Kesa here. I can ready Hidden Blade. Oh, sorry, I can hide Hidden Blade at Kesa's location. And let's say Leona came across to fight. During the showdown, I could reveal Hidden Blade for free and destroy Leona. And obviously they would lose the showdown. So Hidden Blade, very good card as well. Another location, Navori Fighting Pit. When you hold here, buff a unit. We might talk more about buffing later. Raven Balloon Student. When you play a spell, give me +1 might this turn. This is effective effectively Slick Shot Show Off, but only for one. Spoils of War, it's a spell, it's a reaction. We've spoken about that before. Stormclaw Ursine. Ravenborn Tome. It's a 3-cost gear. The next spell you play deals 1 bonus damage. Interesting. I don't think the cost is worth the effect. And nice, we got Leona Legend card. So again, this is the one that tells us what cards we can play in the deck. So we can play green and yellow. She's got the passive ability, when you stun 1 or more enemy units, buff a friendly unit. So that goes perfectly with our Leona signature spell, Leona Champion. So we've got the nice little set there. And we've got an Order Rune. Fantastic. Show you some of the other pools I've got earlier. So we've got, I think these are one of the chase rares as well at the moment, the seals. So they cost nothing, but they have a power. So you have to recycle a rune. And then you can use them to pay for power costs in the future. So it stops you from having to recycle your runes, which is really powerful. They're not as powerful as the mocks from Magic. I want to say they're very similar to which Soul Ring? I guess it's a mana neutral rock. It's a 1-cost. Like, would you play in Commander or in a deck, in a 60-card deck? Would you play a rock that costs 0 that says ETB, sacrifice a land, and it taps for 1 of any color? I feel like that would be playable. But yeah, got one of those. Another champion unit, Dr. Mundo, pretty popular league champion. We got Fiora as well. And whoops. That's Lee Sin. And where's I had Karthus as well. I don't know where he's gone. Somewhere in my pile of cards. Anyway, let's keep opening. Mega Mech. Meditation. Disintegrate. Fallen Comet. Faithful Manufacturer. Crackshot Corsair. Fight or Flight. Location. Sigil of the Storm. When you conquer here, recycle one of your runes. Pack of Wonders. Singularity. Powerful spell. Deals 6 damage to up to 2 units. Costs 6, and then you have to recycle 2. Cruel Patron. Is that a foil? That's a really dull foil. Convergent Mutation. Rare foil. It's a reaction. Play at any time. Choose a friendly unit. Increase its might until it equals the might of another friendly unit. Interesting spell. Mind Splitter. 7 energy, 2 power with 7 might. When you play me, choose an opponent. They reveal their hand and choose a card from it. They discard that card. So it's Thoughtseize. It's like a 7 or 8 cost Thoughtseize on a creature. And we've got a Chaos Rune. Rune Prison. I know I need that for my Master Yi deck. Sky Splitter. The spell's energy cost is reduced by the highest might among units you control. Deal 5 to a unit at a battlefield. Jeweled Colossus. When you play me, scry 1. It's got +1 might while defending. First Mate. This is a really good card. You get it in the Lee Sin starter deck. So it's 3 cost, 3 might. When you play me, ready another unit. It's really good. Especially when you combo it with some of your larger creatures that you can play towards the later game. Gust, reaction, return a unit to a battlefield. Sorry, return a unit at a battlefield with 3 might or less to its owner's hand. Call the Weak, sacrifice a creature each. Challenge, this is a good card. It's action, play on your turn or in a showdown. Choose a friendly unit and an enemy unit. They each deal damage equal to their might to each other. Spectral Matron. This comes in one of the starter decks. Targon's Peak. When you conquer here, ready 2 units at the end of this turn. Dangerous Duo. How can I pronounce the name? Kinyana. Champion unit has Deflect. Opponents must recycle a rune to choose me with a spell or an ability. So it's like Ward. When I conquer, draw 1 or channel 1 rune exhausted. So you either get to put a rune into play from your rune deck, tapped, or you get to draw a card. Really useful skill. And Progress Day. I remember this card from Runeterra. 6 cost spell, draw 4. So in Magic, we have draw 3 for 4 mana. Draw 4 for 6. Doesn't sound very good. What is this? Baited Hook. So pay 1 and recycle a yellow. Tap. Kill a friendly unit. Look at the top 5 cards of your main deck. You may play a unit from among them. It has up to 1 might more than the killed unit, ignoring its cost. So it's like Birthing Pod. Very similar to Birthing Pod. And a rune. It's no doubt not as powerful as Birthing Pod. Excellent 2-drop here. Magma Worm. I almost lost to this card during release weekend. What is this? Haunted Tomb. When you hold here, you may return your chosen champion from your trash to your champion zone if it's empty. Oh, that's cool. Okay, so that's one way to get the champion back if you lose it. Move a friendly unit at a battlefield to your base, the Siren. Gears, I think you can use... Huh. I don't know if you can use them as a reaction. I doubt it. I reckon you can only use them at sorcery speed. Unless it says so otherwise. Another gear. Mask of Foresight. When a friendly unit attacks or defends alone, give +1 might this turn. Retreat. Is that foil? Yep. Reaction. Return a friendly unit to its owner's hand. Its owner channels 1 rune exhausted. So it's almost Path to Exile. Oh, nice. We're chasing one of these. This is one of the best rares in the game right now. Thousand-Tailed Watcher. 7 cost, 1 power, 7 might unit. Accelerate, so you can pay an additional 1 and recycle a blue. When you play me, give enemy units -3 might this turn to a minimum of 1. This is an awesome card. Extremely powerful right now in Season 1. Super stoked we opened that. Machine Evangel, 5 cost, 1 power, 4 might. Death Knell, play 3 1/1 recruit unit tokens to your base. That's what a recruit token looks like. Buff token on the other side. Nice. Good pack. On guard. Cleave. This is really good for the aggro decks. Just a 1 cost. It's basically giant growth for offense. Action. Give a unit plus a 3 attack this turn. Morbid return. Trash to hand. Yeah. When you play this, play a 1 recruit unit token. Oh, it's a gear. Kill this. Recycle up to 4 cards from trashes. Interesting. Pit Rookie. I like this card. It's really good. It's a 2 cost, 2 might, but it gives one of your other units a +1 buff. So it's a 3 cost, basically 3 power for 2, which is obviously great. Tefarian War Camp. Units here have +1 might. Adaptatron. Captain Farion. Pretty sure this guy was absolutely ruthless in the Runeterra digital game, if I remember rightly. Other units here have Assault 1, +1 might when they're attacking. King's Edict. Starting with the next player, each other player chooses a unit you don't control that hasn't been chosen for the spell. Kill those units. Starting with the next player, so my opponent, each other player. So I get to just... It's not very good for 1v1, but it's excellent for multiplayer. Nice. Champion unit. Cogmore. When I die, deal 4 to all units at my battlefield. When I die, get the effect. So he's a... he's literally just the bomber like he is in the game. 3 costs with 1 power and then 1 might. So he looks to deal 5 damage, but how damage assignment works, your opponents can just not assign damage to him. Like, simple as that. And then he just goes back to base. Hey, Defy. So this is Runeterra. This is Riftbound's counterspell of the game. So 1 cost, 1 power. Reaction. Counter a spell that costs no more than 4 and has no more than 1 power. Excellent card. Glad we got some of those. Stack deck. This is, I think this is fair to call this as Ponder for the game. So as an action, so you can play it on your turn or during showdown. Look at the top 3 cards of your main deck, put 1 into your hand and recycle the rest. Vilemore's Lair. I really like this battlefield. Units can't move from here to base. So basically, once you play them at Vilemore's Lair, Vilemore is, if I remember rightly, massive spider in the League of Legends universe. Units can't move from here to base. So you play them, they get stuck. If the only way to get out is if they have ganking and move to another base. Nice foil on guard. I like this card. Foil Misfortune champion unit. You may play me to an open battlefield. Friendly units may be played to open battlefield. Really nice card. Classic artwork as well. Mage Seeker Warden. 6 cost, 1 power, 5 might. While I'm at a battlefield, opponents can only play units to their bases. While I'm at a battlefield, spells and ability can't target ready enemy units. While I'm at a battlefield, spells and abilities can't target... Oh, while I'm at a battlefield, spells and abilities can't ready enemy units and gear. So it's a stacks piece. If I'm reading that right, it's a stacks piece. So you play it at a battlefield, and then opponents can only play to their bases, so they can't reinforce their defenses. And then when they play new creatures, they can't get them ready. They have to wait the full turn. Rage Rune. Nice stacks card. Comes down on turn 3. So in Riftbound you get 2 runes each turn from your rune deck. Not sure. Interesting stacks piece though. Consult the pass. Poro we know. Confront. Units. Oh, I like this card. This is very powerful as well. Units you play this turn, enter ready, draw 1. So for a cost of 2, you just unload your hand and everything is ready and it can attack straight away. And it replaces itself for 2, which is fantastic. I like this card as well. This is nice, especially for the Lee Sin deck. So in the Lee Sin deck or the Ionia deck, there's lots of cards that want you to sacrifice a buff on a unit. And so what you do is you play Synthra at your base, and you just leave her at your base. So she says, whenever you play another unit, buff me. So you leave her at your base, you play another unit, put a buff, utilize that buff in some way. Like I said, there are some cards that use buffs as an additional cost. And then she just sits there and fuels all your buff costs. Zorn Warrens. When you conquer here, discard 1, then draw 1. Fight or flight foil. Blitzcrank champion unit. 5 cost, 1 power with 5 might. Has tank. I must be assigned combat damage first. When you play me to a battlefield, you may move an enemy unit here. When I hold, return me to my owner's hand. So he's just like that charm card that we were talking about earlier. So he can engage. He's just like his unit in the game. You can engage fights, and then you can replay them later on. 5 costs, though, a bit steep, especially when recycling. Oh, nice. Why do I feel like this is a alt art? I'm pretty sure this is an alt art. Alt art Yasuo. 5 cost, 1 power, 4 might. Champion unit, Yasuo Wind Rider, has ganking. The 3rd time I move in a turn, you score 1 point. So if he's bouncing between bases or battlefields, you get to score a free point. Really nice. I think that's an extended art. It's not overnumbered, but it's definitely the extended art, which is really gorgeous. Don't think I've seen any more cards that I need for the Caser deck yet. I'm looking for Zonya's Hourglass is the other big card I'm looking for. Hidden Blade, again, nice. Catalyst of Aeons. Channel 2 runes exhausted. If you couldn't channel 2 runes this way, draw 1. So again, that's just a ramp card. So it's a 4-cost spell. So you can play this on turn 2. And then you put 2 runes into play tapped from your rune deck. This has got a lot of text on it. What does this do? Candlelit Sanctum. When you conquer here, look at the top 2 cards of your main deck. You may recycle 1 or both of them. Put those you don't back in any order. That's a really good spell for stacking your deck or a battlefield. We've got another battlefield. When you hold here, you may channel one rune exhausted. It's the foil. Falling Star. Do this twice. Deal 3 to a unit. Pretty sure this is pretty hype at the moment. People are playing this card. Hey, there we go. So is this not overnumbered, but this is the... Is this the alt? This is not the alt art. But we got the legend Ari, Nine-Tailed Fox. So it's green and blue cards only. When an enemy unit attacks a battlefield you control, give it -1 might this turn to a minimum of 1. Very, very nice. It's 2 banger packs in a row. Yeah, so it means I can play my Ari deck now. Again, this card is so freaking good. This is a 3 of in every deck that can run it. Stands United, this is another cool card. So it's a spell that you can play as an action or you can hide it. Windswept Hillock. Units here have ganking. So that's good for the Yasuo deck. Fading Memories. This card almost blew me out at release. 4 cost 1 power. Spell. Give a unit at a battlefield or a gear temporary. Kill it at the start of its controller's beginning phase before scoring. Sky Splitter, foil. Ooh, I've heard about this card. Brynir Thundersong. When you play me, opponents can't play cards this turn. There we go. Volibear Legend card. Champion Legend. This can replace the sample one that I have. Put them over here. Sort these all out later. Block. Give a unit shield 3 and tank. Hidden spell. I've not seen this one before. So while it's a defender, it must be assigned damage first, and it gets +3 might while it's a defender. Peak Guardian. 6 cost, 1 power, 5 might. When you play me, buff me, then if I'm at a battlefield, buff all other friendly units here. Potential blowout card. Foil Doondrake. 5 cost, 5 might. When I attack, give me +2 might if there's already an enemy unit here. Mistfall as our rare. I had this in the Lee Sin deck. I could never find a way to like tempo this in and make good use of it. Nice. Champion Heimerdinger. Inventor. I have all the tap abilities of all friendly legends, units, and gear. So he's Marvin the Murderous Mimic for the Magic the Gathering players here. Sprite. Oh, this is a token card. Not seen that one before. So with all the timings and everything that I was talking about earlier, with like the actions, reactions, when you can play your spells, that's the depth that I think something like a game like Disney Lorcana is missing. Because there was, at the release event, I certainly had some like big brain poker play moments where, you know, I just set the trap for my opponent and they walked right into it and then blew them out with certain action cards or reaction cards. Void Gate. Spells and abilities affecting units here deal 1 bonus damage. The thing with battlefields to remember, so like one like this, spells and abilities affecting units here deal 1 bonus damage. It's both players get this ability. And that's like the Marvel Snap aspect. Oh, nice. This is another excellent card. Not for any of the decks that I want to play, but just an excellent card in general. Carnivorous Snapvine. So it's a 5 cost, 2 power. So you can see that I think this is the first. No, we've literally just had another card that costs 2 power. But it costs 2 orange power, 6 might. When you play me, choose an enemy unit at a battlefield. We deal damage equal to our mights to each other. So you basically play him and then just snipe an enemy unit at a battlefield and then move in with the rest of your units. Convergent Mutation, we've spoken about that one before. Excellent, got Defy. Need more of those. Your opponent's hidden cards can't be revealed here. Interesting card. Foil Harnessed Dragon. 8 cost, 2 power, 6 might. When you play me, wow, it's Ravenous Chupacabra. When you play me, kill an enemy unit. Demacia. Solari Shrine, 3 cost gear. When you kill a stunned enemy unit, you may exhaust this to draw 1. Again, like it's a 3 cost, do nothing. And it requires you to stun. Oh, snap. We literally got the best card in the game in foil. Dazzling Aurora. 9 cost, 2 power. It's a gear. At the end of your turn, reveal cards from the top of your main deck until you reveal a unit. Play it, ignoring its costs. Recycle the rest. So, again, 9 cost seems quite high. If you think about the decks that you want to play, you're playing like a Volibear deck, or Lee Sin. You're getting 2 runes every turn. So you're playing this at the earliest turn 5, but you could potentially play it on turns 4 and 3. Depending on, like if you play the Catalyst Gem that gives you 2 runes, so you play that on turn 2 because it costs 4, so that puts you up to 6, and then turn 3 puts you to 8. You're still playing it turn 4 at the earliest, unless there's another card that you play to get more runes into play. Still. This is a fantastic control piece. So glad we opened that. Fury Rune. So we're pretty much just hunting for duplicates of the rares that we want, and overnumbered and signed cards are what we're chasing down now. Arena's greatest. At the start of each player's first beginning phase, that player gains 1 point. So it's just a free point for everybody. Quick game's a good game. Spirit's Refuge. When you play this buff a friendly unit, friendly buff units have deflect. If it didn't already. Whoa, oh my god, look at the power cost on that. 6 energy, 4 power, 8 might, Commander Ledros. As you play me, you may kill any number of friendly units as an additional cost. Oh, reduce my power by for each killed this way. Has Reflect and Ganking. And Ty Turner. When you play me, may you choose a friendly unit, move me to its location. Move me to its location and it to my original location. Oh, it's a creature. I was very confused there for a second. Okay, so you can just quickly blink something out of existence. Still hunting down signatures or over numbers. When you ready a friendly unit, give it +1 might this turn. See, this seems fine because you ready your units obviously at the start of each turn. When you conquer here, you may spend a buff to draw one. This is about that Synthra card I was talking earlier. Banish a friendly unit, then play it to its base, ignoring its costs. Portal Rescue. Say action. The Harrowing. Play a unit from your trash, ignoring its energy cost. 6 seems a lot. Although again, you're doing it on turn 3, but you're recycling 2. Tough to say if it's a good card or not. Nice. There we go. Seal of Insight. So these are the other cards that we're chasing as well. So it's the 0 cost, cost of power, and then you can start using it to pay for power costs in the future. Really, really good card. Do not underestimate these cards. We've still got a bunch of packs left. How many have we got? 4... Is that 9? Yeah, we've still got 9 packs to go. So used to 12, just my 12-pack collector boxes or whatever it is. Obelisk of Power, yeah, we've seen that one before. Kinku Monk, 4 cost, 1 power. When you play me, buff 2 other friendly units. Not that good because if you don't have any other units in play, it's very overcosted for what it does. Nice. Foil Cleave. Unyielding Spirit. Prevent all spell and ability damage this turn. Nice. Champion unit. Kane. 6 cost, 1 power for a 6 might unit with ganking. If I have moved twice this turn, I don't take damage. Oh, seems really good. I really like that ability. Is he in Iona colors? I think so. Purple. What do I want? I want more Teemo cards. I need to open a Teemo. I think that's the only other champion that I'm missing. Consult the past. So this seems really good. Consult the past. You can play it as a reaction. Four cost, draw 2. Or you can recycle a rune, hide it. Like 0 cost. Would you play a card that says sacrifice a land, draw 2? I think the answer is yes. Rune Prison, nice. I know I need those. When you hold here, draw 1. This is a good card. Eclipse Herald, 7 cost, 1 power, 7 might. When you stun an enemy unit, ready me and give me +1 might this turn. Obviously goes in the Leona deck. Stupefy for a foil. Plus Ari. Nice, there we go. So this, I think this is the one thing that's worth pointing out. So the promo Ari that I got looks exactly like this, except in the little rarity gem, it just says promo. But if Ari deck comes up, we need multiple Aris. Let's go. And, oh, I thought that was a signature spell for a second. We haven't seen a signature spell in ages. Blind Fury. Play on your turn or in showdowns. Each opponent reveals top card of their main deck. Choose one and play it, ignoring its cost, recycle the rest. In one player, it sucks, but in... Oh, wow! So these are... I didn't realize there was alt art runes. Okay, sick. So we have alt art... These are the full art runes, I guess. I didn't realize that was a thing. That's really nice. Sick. Okay. Well, that goes in the check out later pile. I don't think I saw any of those at release either. Well, nobody exclaimed that they got one. Plus, we've just gone through over half a box, and that's the first one we've seen. Defend here. Ooh. Move a friendly unit to the base. Treasure Trove. When this leaves the board, draw 1, channel 1. Caser. Champion Legend. We've already got one of those. Nice. Another champion unit. Why am I struggling? Anivia? Yeah, it's Anivia. When I attack, deal 3 damage to all enemy units here. Look at the... Is that the... Oh my god, it is. Look at the... Can you... Does the camera pick that up? Can you see the bits of cardboard that are still on there? Print quality, something to be desired on these cards. That's a real shame. But yeah, nice. Anivia. I don't think she's played in any decks at the moment, though. Charm. Love to see it. Reckless Arena. When you hold here, activate the conquer effects of other units here. Seems like a cool build around. Fight or Flight. I think this is our second foil one of those. And Ava Achiever. When I attack, you may recycle blue to play a card with hidden from your hand here, ignoring its costs. Oh, nice. Signature spell. Victor. Siphon Power. 2 cost and either blue or yellow power. Reaction. Choose a battlefield. Give friendly units there +1 might this turn and enemy units -1 might this turn to a minimum of 1. We do have some Victor legends, so That's awesome. Alright, let's see. Albus Feros. 4 costs, 3 might. When you play me, spend any number of buffs. For each buff spent, channel 1 rune exhausted. Hey, Teemo. Exactly what we want. So we can hide him at a battlefield. When you play me, give me +3 might this turn. Oh, nice. Oh, nice. Alt art set. 4 cost, 1 power for 5 might. Set Kingping as a tank. I get +1 might for each buffed friendly unit at my battlefield. This is the alt art set champion. I don't know what the... It's from the... Oh, it's from the Wild Rift. Very cool. Oop. Oh, I like that. This card reminds me of Rune Terror card. Solari Chief. When you play me, choose an enemy unit. If it's stunned, kill it. Otherwise, stun it. Poro Herder. When you play me, if you control a Poro, buff me and draw 1. Nice. There's another rare that we're chasing for our Master Yi deck. Tasty Tree Folk. 7 cost, 6 might. Accelerate, you may pay 1 and recycle a rune as an additional cost to have him enter ready. Death Knell, channel 2 runes exhausted and draw 1. Excellent. And Tryndamere, champion unit. 7 cost, 2 power, 8 might. When I conquer after an attack, if you assigned 5 or more excess damage to enemy unit, you score 1 point. When I conquer after an attack, if you assigned 5 or more excess damage. I mean, scoring points for free is always really good. Oh, wow. Alt Art Volibear. It's from, I don't know what skin that is, but that looks dope. It's got the different foiling on it as well. Volibear, Furious, has Deflect 2. Opponents must... Oh, is that skin or is that... Oh, it's just the artwork not lining up there. Opponents must recycle 2 to choose me. When I attack, deal 5 damage split among any number of enemy units here. Oh, big pack. Alright. Down to our last 3 boosties. Is that foil? Forge of the Future foil. Nice. So is this the... So this is the Victor Champion Legend. Pay 1, generate a recruit unit token. Alt art. And Udyr Champion Unit. This is in the Lee Sin deck, although I never had the right, I guess, like tempo to play him. Got a bunch of abilities, just like Udyr. If he's buffed, you can spend the buff, so you can remove the buff from him. Deal 2 to a unit, stun a unit, ready me, give me ganking. All right, let's go. Still chasing a signature. Foil, Wielder of Water. Tarek, I didn't even know he was in the game. Champion unit, Tarek, Protector. 4 might, 4 power, 4 cost, 1 power, 4 might, a shield 1, tank. Other friendly units here have a shield. Truly, truly outrageous. Followed by Shakedown. Reaction. Choose an enemy unit. Deal 6 to it unless its controller has you draw 2. Oh, Tarot goes in the champion pile. Last pack. Come on. Signature card. 1 time. All right, here we go. Oh, last uncommon, so it should be foil. Teemo, Champion Legend. Unfortunately, we've already got one of those. We don't really need to double up. This is it. What do we get? Sabotage. Wah, wah. So what is this? This is like Baby Thoughtseize. Choose an opponent that reveal their hand. Choose a non-unit card from it. Recycle that card. Alright, well, we didn't get any signatures. But we did open up, from a playability perspective, some of the best cards in the game. We got some nice alt art. So we've got Tasty Tree Folk, Teemo. We got a signature spell. Got a nice rune. Ari. So we got 2 seals. Looks like, oh, I've opened up another pack off stream. Dazzling Aurora. Carnivora Snapvine. We got the alt art Yasuo. Blitzcrank, Misfortune. Thousand-Tailed Watcher. Leona, and the Leona Champion card. Alright, we're going to call it there for the stream. I just wanted to open up the Boosty Box and film some content for it and talk about the game. I will definitely be exploring this game more. What that looks like, I don't know yet, in terms of whether that's going to be a new channel or if I am just going to post some content to Attack on Cardboard. I haven't got that quite worked out yet. But yeah, I'm hoping to get my hybrid video out tonight because we want to talk about the hybrid commander rules change that's been proposed and talk about why I am against it. Otherwise, you can come talk to me in the Discord. Appreciate everybody stopping by. Hope you enjoy Runeterra. Please let me know if you're looking to play the game, and we could potentially do some spell table stuff. Otherwise, thanks for tuning in. Hope you guys all have a safe and lovely rest of your weekend. And I will see you guys in the next one.